Seminoles.com back here in sunny California as Florida State continues to prep for the Rose Bowl game on January 1st as they take on Oregon. I'm Lane Hurt along with Jonathan Schlesy and Tim Linnefelt. Guys, this is the first full day of press conferences. You had Florida State's offense and Oregon's defense. To me, it looked a little bit of the mutual admiration society. Both had a lot of nice things to say about each other, but at the same time, both teams very confident in what they're able to do. Tim, let's start with you. What really stuck out for you in the writers' room?
Man, kind of like what you said. I thought it was really interesting how calm and collected Florida State was. It was the first time really in this type of bowl setting where it just seemed really relaxed. They had a nice setup in there where each player was at a different podiums around a different room, and there's maybe 5-6 riders at each one. Even Jameis Winston, who of course draws a really big crowd, really wasn't overwhelming. You could get up to him and ask him a question pretty easily if you wanted to. It just had such a different feel than the BCS championship game last year, and I think part of that comes with these teams, man. They're used to big stages. Florida State is used to playing out here. Oregon's used to playing out here. This really isn't anything new. So I was kind of struck by that, just kind of how it really felt like business as usual for both sides.
Jonathan, we were in the digital room. What were your takeaways?
I thought it was really the confidence of this team. I mean, you look at it, all they know is winning, and that really showed in this press conference. I mean, that's all they talked about is, we go into these games knowing we're going to win, and I mean, you heard it from Nick O'Leary. He goes, we know we're going to win, we're going to go and beat Oregon. I thought the confidence really showed in this press conference, and it was really a stun to me.
One of the things we're going to talk about in these daily wrap-ups are some of the X's and O's things, some of the important things to look at in this game. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how important a fast start is for Florida State. Under Mark Helfrich, Oregon has only trailed at the half 3 times, and they've trailed after the first quarter, I think, 4 times. This is a team that starts quick, they bury their opponents very quickly. Tim, do you see that as an important aspect of this game?
Oh, absolutely, man. And the thing is, Oregon, their offense is so fast, can strike from anywhere. If you do start slowly, have a couple 3-and-outs on offense, you can find yourself down 14, even 21 points in the first quarter. And that is something that we have seen Florida State struggle with this year. Is some maybe slow out of the gate in the first, second quarters. Against Oregon, you really don't want to be down by 2-3 touchdowns in the second half. You might not get an opportunity to come back, and even if you can, that assumes that you're slowing down Marcus Mariota and his cohort. So, not that it can't be done. It's just definitely not the path of least resistance. It would make things exceedingly difficult for Florida State if they kind of stick to some of the scripts that they've had earlier in the season.
And Jonathan, to the other side of things, what could it do to an Oregon team to see themselves in a tight, competitive ball game, even trailing in the second half of a game?
Well, we talked about it yesterday, me and you, and this team really hasn't faced too much adversity. You allow Oregon to get down early, what are they going to be able to do? How have they, that was the question for Florida State last year. How would they do it? They were able to do it against Auburn. Well, let's see how Oregon can do it against Florida State. If Florida State can get up early, what does Oregon do?
And of course, Seminoles.com has been pushing out a ton of content since we've been here in California. Tim, what are you working on now? What can you expect to see from you?
Well, one thing I think will be really interesting and hope people will enjoy is we got to chat with Lawrence Dawsey a little bit today, which is pretty rare. Florida State's assistants usually don't talk during the season. They talk before the season and during bowl games. And Lawrence Dawsey is just a really sharp, enlightening guy, a former player, played at Florida State. So he has such a unique perspective on this program and what it's done. And so we chatted with him and about Rashad Green, and chatted with Rashad Green about Lawrence Dawsey. And we asked Rashad, what's your relationship like with Coach Dawson? And said, man, he's my second father, so I love him to death. And so I thought that was really cool. Kind of dug into that a little bit, and so I'll have a story hopefully later today on the relationship between those two guys.
As far as Jonathan's concerned, I hope you've already seen it, but if not, he had a chance to follow the team in the park in Disneyland yesterday. Jonathan, give it a little bit behind-the-scenes access from that story.
Well, you asked me earlier what was the biggest shock to me. I think actually the biggest shock this entire week so far is how much of a scaredy cat Mario Edwards might be going on rides. That was so much fun following those guys around, so that piece was a lot of fun. We put that up yesterday, or actually this morning, and then hopefully we'll have another fun piece, Media Day, come, and then Jimbo Talks today as well.
And like Jonathan just said, big day tomorrow, Media Day. Every coach, every player available to talk to. So, of course, we're going to talk to some of those freshmen who haven't talked all year, get their thoughts on the season and this upcoming matchup. And also the Lowry's Beef Bowl, one of the most favorite events for any team that comes to the Rose Bowl. And, of course, Seminoles.com will have all of your behind-the-scenes content from that and much, much more. For Tim Linnefelt and Jonathan Schlesy, I'm Lane Hurt. We'll see you tomorrow.